He says, welcome everyone. This is the one you know as Jesus, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, and so many other names being given to him during this time on earth. He's joking about during his reign on earth, but it was far from a reign. Okay? Too funny. Sometimes he'll crack a joke or two. Okay? So the first thing he wants us to do is to believe that anything is possible, that we are capable of making magic happen. And what is the definition of magic? The definition of magic is creating something, seeing something that you didn't even think was possible. Whether you manifested it purely by thought or your team knew what you needed and brought it forth for you to enjoy in your lifetime. Your team being your angels, your spirit guides, your loved ones that have crossed over before you. Know this, anything is possible, anything. Even the things in which you feel are impossible are actually possible. It's really important that we don't sway from the path or the paths in which we are being guided upon. So if you feel as though you're moving in a direction that does not feel right, or it doesn't feel best, or you're getting a confined or restricted feeling in your chest, this is your team's way of guiding you elsewhere, just the same as if your chest and your stomach feel nice and relaxed and open, you might get like a butterfly sensation, or you feel very drawn to a path, steer in that direction. That's number one importance. Most of us here on earth are up in our heads rather than feeling if something feels right or it feels best. Where are your angels guiding you? Where is your soul steering you? And it's really important that we know this and that we practice this. Moving forward, there are going to be some chaotic days presented here on earth. The quality of lives that we're used to won't be as present, won't be as available. So you might notice, like, you can't get certain items in the store anymore. You once could get a product, but now you can't. Or you might notice that the products that you are purchasing are double the price. And so it's not feasible for you to even purchase any longer. Depending on where you live, you might just have products leaving your country and you just can't purchase them anymore. Companies maybe can't sell as much as they once did. And so you might notice food products or other types of products that just aren't available because the company isn't available anymore. These types of things, okay? There's going to be some heavier days. We would maybe call them darker days. He's quoting me now. As Kristin says, it's going to get a little Mad Maxy out there. I always say that, like the movie Mad Max. So there's going to be the haves and the have-nots. It's not going to be as easy as it once was. And there's no turning back. In many ways, the spirit realm is all right with these changes on earth because unless forced, many of us would not make these changes. We wouldn't stand up for ourselves. We wouldn't voice ourselves. We wouldn't take action steps unless absolutely necessary. So unless forced, we would just hang back and just keep on keeping on the same way that we once did. It's not the end. It's a new beginning moving forward. But there are some ways in which you can make your lives easier and secure your futures more easily, more readily for yourselves. It's really important that we really discern what type of news is being fed to us. You know, the older generation, they just sit in front of the TV and they believe everything that's being relayed to them. The news is being given to them, they're just buying it. Whereas the younger generation is on TikTok, and we're getting kind of like a behind the scenes angle, away from the news, away from the government's desire of perception for us to believe. So the government wants to feed us one narrative, and through TikTok and other social media platforms, we're getting more on the ground by other journalists, by other people, by people's actual experiences. So the government or the people out there might tell you one thing, but the reality might be something completely different. Or look over here while we're doing this over here. So it's really important that we use discernment as to what we are being fed information-wise. And then feel if it resonates and if it's important for you to pay attention to, or if it's actually true. So some of the things that he is going to recommend now about how to make securing our future, how to make things easier on ourselves, this is what he wants to talk about next. Finding a way of pooling your money together to secure land, living off grid, detaching from the system, using bartering rather than buying, finding other ways of securing your wealth instead of keeping money in the bank. Gold, silver, Bitcoin, crypto. He says many of the young generation are getting credit cards and or using debt in order to secure Bitcoin, for example, when it's low, and then when it jacks up high, they sell it, pay off the credit cards, and then they have money in the bank. There is something the younger generation is doing to secure themselves that the older generation wouldn't even dream of doing. The older generation was interested in or bought into working a menial job, minimum wage, at the same age, at the same stage of life. Whereas the younger generation has realized they better think outside the box in order to secure their futures. And he thinks that it's quite wise and quite smart of them to find new ways like drop shipping, advertising. He's showing me one young man that I had seen online, and he was contacting a cleaning company and saying, hey, I have some clients. Would you send some cleaners there? You guys can take a certain percentage and I'll take a certain percentage. And then the cleaning company's like, sure, that sounds great. And so this young man was working from his bed with a website securing cleaning contracts, and he wasn't even doing any of the work. He was just the middleman making a cut while other cleaning companies would show up and do the cleaning for the client. So they figured out a way of hanging back, working from home, and securing large amounts of money, right? Okay, and then he's showing me another young man that I'd seen yesterday, and he takes other people's videos and he makes them into short reels, and then he pops them up online, and he has like 4 pages going, and he secures something like $42,000 a month just by doing that. So they've figured out a way to work outside of the matrix, if you want to call it, to secure their futures. And this is what Jesus is explaining to us, is that thinking outside the box is a good thing. There are ways of making your lives easier, more simplified, by detaching or stepping outside of the matrix. And moving forward, if you feel as though you can live with less, living with less is actually more. So if you have a boat and you have a car and you have a house and you have this and you have that, and it's weighing you down or strapping you down, it's not necessarily securing your future. It's weighing you down day by day. Some people are going to find themselves laid off. Some people are going to find that they can't pay their mortgages any longer with the high interest rates. And there are other ways of moving forward in order to secure yourself. He really likes living off grid or separate from everyone else on a piece of land that you own, because the larger corporations are moving in now and they're making more money now than ever before, and they're purchasing up rental companies, rental buildings, rental homes, and we will become the tenants rather than the owners here on earth. So whether it is purchasing a small condo, if you can afford it, or if it means living off grid and securing a piece of land, that would be beneficial. The powers that be, the government, doesn't want you to live off grid. It doesn't want you to be separate from the tax collection in the city and the sewage and the water and because that's where the money is made. We have way more power than we think we do. That's the other thing that's coming in. Many of you are deciding to not do your taxes this year or even pay your taxes. If we had a large enough movement of this, what changes we could make. Laws, rules need to be implemented to hold those accountable who are in these power seats, rather than allowing them free rein to act accordingly, choosing corruption and greed instead of actually helping the people. And he wants to talk about AI being used as a tool to secure more control over the masses, which, yes, he's saying that I've been really talking to my friends a lot about. I do not like it. I don't like it one bit. How can you can't outdo AI? Like, you can't. And if it's used in the wrong hands in the wrong way, it's not a good thing for the people. But on the flip side, a friend of mine said the other day, think about how AI can be used in a way for the people to use, take the power back into their hands. So it's not just about the governments using AI to control the masses, but how can the masses use it to secure their futures? Okay, so in regards to you securing a new source of income, all right. So it's interesting because me, like everyone else, thinks that we need to secure an income to secure ourselves. And sometimes that's not necessarily the case. So, for example, when it came time, I was, incapable of working. And so my only option was to move in with my mom. And my mom helped to secure the days ahead for me. I lived at home. She helped to, cook meals, grocery shopped. Things were pretty minimal, but I was totally taken care of. And I had a roof over my head and I had food in the fridge, and I had doctor's visits and stays in the hospital and surgery and all the rest of it. So sometimes we're not necessarily meant to work a job, but rather amalgamate and consolidate and move in a direction where we're moving in with family, or we find a way where we can detach from the old paradigm of what we should be doing. And they want us to have a look out there. Look at what's available work-wise. Nothing that you're going to work, no matter how many hours that you put in, are going to secure you enough without completely burning out your energy, especially at the stage and the age of life that we're in. Not all of the things that are good for us or the right path are necessarily easy for us to process or digest. As hard as having a spiritual awakening can be, when you're awake, things are not the same. Some of the people that you hang out with, you can't hang out with anymore. That maybe the job that you're doing, you can't do anymore. It can be very difficult, but I'll tell you this, I wouldn't take it back for $1 million. It has been an absolute blessing, huge blessing. So you've had a spiritual awakening and now have been hired for a 3D job. But I feel there's more out there. Is there? Now, should we take the job temporarily and just secure ourselves? Or is it best to not take the job? Let's see what Spirit says. Take the job. I can hear that from your male guardian angel. Very blunt. Are you very blunt? So if you like people straight shooting with you, your team's going to straight shoot with you. Okay, so anything else? For now means to an end. They'll do this, means to an end, and this means the money needs to flow. And although this might only be for a time, take it. The other thing that's being recommended to you is that you can ask for the light to infuse through your workspace. Also, you can ask Archangel Michael to move into your workplace, just like you can ask him to move into your home. And that will make the energy and the space a lot better. So Michael will come in and start vacuuming everybody and the entire space. So it lifts up and there's not the drama or anything that's going to maybe drag down your frequency. And the other part of it is hold steady. And it's like, do the work, kind of keep to yourself and keep as positive as you can. So what the, yeah, thank you. Your guardian angel's like pointing at me. I used to be like, yap, 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 oh, ha, ha. I used to tell everybody everything. I used to, way more than now. If you can even imagine my little Pleiadian butt. So the key is to rein it in. Don't be so divulging with everyone. Get the work done. Kind of keep your cards closer to your chest. Keep to yourself a little more. That way it keeps your frequency higher. So don't openly chitty chat or whatever the case may be that you feel that you are contributing to. It's an incoming light frequency, which is really pummeling the earth right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed this. It's a feeling of I need to rest more. I need to sleep more. I need to just decompress more. This isn't a time of taking action right now. This is a time of decompression, resting, relaxing, and letting this light frequency pummel your vessel. So first we went through the clearing, defragmenting, removing of the heaviness, and now we're getting pummeled with the light. And that's what ascension is. It's the clearing, getting into deeper layers, and then it is the bombarding you with light. And that is what's happening right now. So some of us might notice our vision changes. We might feel it like the vision isn't as clear, a little bit hazy. You might notice headaches. You might notice dizziness or like you just can't quite get things done like you were, like things are stagnated. This is a rest period while we take in the light. Energy is going to uptick and pick up again in the month of June. Rest assured of this. I was literally saying to my team, like, this is the longest, I call it ebb and flow. So ebb, like the waves, rest, chill, and then flow, go, take action steps. But this ebb has lasted, 3-4 weeks, maybe longer. It's like, and it is as ebby as I have ever seen it. So if you ever get something happening like a high-pitched tone in your ear, short of tinnitus, which most of us don't have, and you feel the energy shift around you while you're getting these in your ear, okay? So then you're like, and it's usually in one ear, unless you're going to get ear muffed. Then you have spirit on both sides, and then you can't hear much of anything, and then it's like a lot of stillness. That's spirit getting ready to talk to you. So just quiet your mind and let them form thought forms in your mind. You're not going to hear them out here. for the most part. But inside your mind, you will have words formed. And it may sound like your internal voice, but they're forming them for you. Okay? So the 3 distinct tones, you'll either have a download of information, opening of your chakra centers, your ear chakras, opening further, or it's going to be, so you must become the medium. Just like we are all mediums. It's time for you to practice. Well, you guys, this has been amazing. Let's see if there's any last words from Jesus that he would like to relay to us. The new beginning is now. Do not delay. Secure your futures in order to make things easier for yourselves. If you need to sell things off, if you feel a need to downsize, join in with friends or family members with home purchases or land purchases, so be it. Free yourselves and secure your futures, and think of other ways, other means of where to put your money other than in your bank accounts. Assets that generate wealth, more income. That's the way moving forth, if you can. If you're not in this position at this time, simply ask or pray, however which way you would like to do it, and we shall step forth and start moving you in this direction immediately. Doesn't mean that it's going to come in immediately. It means that Spirit's going to step in immediately and start moving you in this direction. Thank you, dear ones. Thank you, beloved ones. Thank you. Bye, everyone.